Hi everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett. As always with my reviews, I'll be doing a very brief synopsis of the book and then I'll be going into my thoughts. Everything will be spoiler free and I won't give you a synopsis that's too in-depth either because this is a mystery book and I don't want to give too much away, so I'm just going to give you a very brief summary of what to expect going into this book. So starting off with the summary, this is Janice Hallett's third book and once again this is told in a very interesting and unique format. It's basically told in documents and it's as though all of these documents have been put together in order for a true crime writer to research a case. That case is the Alperton Angels. So something happened 20 years prior to these documents being released. It involved the Alperton Angels, who were like a cultish kind of group in London. They were convinced that a certain baby was the Antichrist and they had to kill it. Thankfully the baby was saved, but it then kind of got lost in the system. No one knows who the baby actually is or has grown up to be. And so this true crime writer called Amanda, she wants to figure out who the baby is, find them and interview them for her book, and that's kind of her pitch or mission for this whole thing. So we're reading through Amanda's research documents, which consist of emails, news articles, transcripts that are typed up by her typist, WhatsApp messages as well, and that's all I'm going to say about the synopsis. So into the review. So starting off, I want to say that I absolutely loved The Appeal, which is Janice Hallett's first book. I didn't really care much for the Twyford Code, so her books have been very hit or miss for me. The thing is though, I'm a massive fan of these mixed media formats. I'm sure there's a proper word for it, but I can't remember what it is. I think she writes books in such a unique way, which is why I was so keen to give The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels a go, which from now on I will probably just call her third book because it's a very long title. So not only is this written in mixed media format, which I love, I just get very engrossed in reading through the documents from start to finish, and because it's also told in email and text format, it's a very quick read. It's very fast paced, so you don't get caught up for too long in each document. Not only that, but it also follows a true crime writer, and I'm quite into my true crime. I don't get obsessive over it or anything. I don't really like to talk about it all that much, although I do have a bit of a feature on my channel that I'm hoping to bring back in 2023 covering some true crime books. I do have an interest in true crime, so that was a major draw for me. To be honest, I don't really read many books about cults, but the ones that I have read so far have been a little unsatisfactory. This book, however, mainly focuses on the true crime writer's research rather than the cult itself, and I think that works really well. We didn't really have to get into the nitty-gritty about the cult in that we didn't follow anyone's point of view. We didn't really have to suspend our disbelief and sort of try to emotionally connect to any cult members or cult leaders even, which is sometimes the case. So I think it worked really well being told from the writer's point of view instead. I really enjoyed the way that Janice Hallett put together the research as though she was an actual author putting together research for a case and how everything became interlinked. The author, the true crime writer Amanda, was an interesting one. I didn't really feel much of a connection to her, and I'm not really sure you're meant to because of things that happen. I don't really think she's the most relatable person, but you do find bits and pieces about her backstory throughout the book and you slowly learn more and more about her, and then you learn a lot about her at the end, and then suddenly it all makes sense as to why she was kind of the way that she was. I always love how confusing Hallett's books are in the beginning, and this one was no different. I really struggled to understand what was happening at first, which is really fitting because Amanda, the true crime writer, was also a bit confused. She didn't know loads about this case either, and I think she had heard of it before she started researching for it, but she still had to do her own research, and we're really following along with her as she did that, and how as she interviewed people, and we got to know all of the different people who were involved in the case and that she was able to interview or not interview, as the case may be. So it's not really a bad thing that I go into her books knowing nothing and struggling to figure out what's going on, because it really feels like I've earned it along with the characters or whoever we're following. I really like to unpack and discover more information as I go along. Going back to Amanda quickly, I did actually really enjoy her relationship or banter with Ellie, who was her audio typist. I thought they had such a fun relationship, and we saw some of Ellie's comments throughout the transcripts when she put her notes and stuff in brackets as she was listening to what was going on. That made her very relatable to the reader as well, because the readers were probably thinking the exact same thing. At least I was. So I'm really pleased to say that I enjoyed The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels a lot more than the Twyford Code. This one just worked so much better, and I think it's partly because I read the Twyford Code as an ebook or physical book, and I think it's probably better to be consumed in audio format if you can, whereas this one works really well in physical because you can see all the documents in front of you. You can flip through, you can flip back if you need to, which I definitely did have to at certain points. And like I said, this one did take a little while to get into as well, but by the end I was really intrigued, and it was definitely worth it. And I was starting to put the pieces together just as Janice Hallett was explaining them, which is my favourite kind of mystery thriller. I really like being in the dark all the way up until the end and then just getting there before the author explains everything, because then I feel really smart. There was one twist that I did guess. I did figure out what was happening with the baby. I'm not going to say any more than that. But despite that, I don't think it detracted from my enjoyment at all. I still really enjoyed it, and I was still very intrigued by the mystery. And of course, I didn't know if I was correct, so I kept going, and I turned out to be right. And I didn't want to like gloat too much, but it made me feel quite smart, and it was still a very enjoyable read. I did feel like the ending was a little bit convoluted in some places. I mean, this is a really weird book anyway for that. Like, it feels quite unrealistic in terms of the cult being in London and everything that happened there. However, it had like that smidge of realism that made me wonder, like, maybe this actually could have happened in London back in the day, and people are just like, people are a lot. So I didn't mind the ending per se, but it wasn't my favourite ending because of reasons that I can't go into here. But it wasn't disappointing or anything. It was just kind of like a action movie sort of situation that felt a little bit out of place with everything else that was going on. I think Janice Hallett is such a unique writer, and I honestly can't wait to see what she comes out with next. I don't know what she's going to tackle next, because obviously the appeal was about two solicitors, I believe, looking at getting someone released. And the Twyford Code was about, I can't even really remember the actual plot of that one. It was quite boring. It was about a father and son, I believe, and the father was really into something that happened when he was younger, and the teacher went missing or something. And then this one is obviously a true crime story. I really hope that she continues writing in this format, because I think it is a lot of fun, and there aren't many books out there that do this. So yeah, I would happily pick up whatever she comes out with next. I'm happy to continue reading her. These aren't really books that I would probably buy for myself, because I don't know if they have like a rereadability. That said, I am curious to go back and read The Appeal just for fun, because I read the US version and I wonder if it's different to the UK version, but that's just like my own intrigue, I suppose. I would highly recommend this if you like mystery thrillers, and also if you like mixed media format. I don't even necessarily think you have to love thriller books to enjoy this one. I think it's got a very contemporary like feel to it, which is good. Kind of like a domestic sort of thriller maybe. Obviously, if you're into true crime, then give this one a go as well, because it does read like a true crime case. I gave it 4 stars, really enjoyed it, and like I said, can't wait to see what she comes out with next. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I'm trying to post regular book review videos on this channel. So far I'm doing really well, I have to say, but if you don't like book review videos and you somehow made it to the end of this, I do post other videos on this channel 3 times a week, so hopefully you can find something that you do like. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all in the next video. Bye!